Hi, Kathy here from KathysKuteKreations. This is using my iPad today. This is just like a test run, sort of. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know because all I see is the back side. I can't see the front side. So I am working on my daughter-in-law's blanket, and I have messed up 4, I believe, of the blocks. So I've taken them out and redone them. And this is the block that I messed up. I don't know how I messed it up. I had all these wrong. So I had to take them all apart, redo them. So I'm on this one here, and I'm not even sure that's right because it looks like this needs to be in the left-hand corner and I have it at the top right. So I've already got it messed up and I've got to take it apart again. Kathy here from KathysKuteKreations. Today I'm going to try and use my iPad, and I really don't know where the camera is. I think it's located over there in that corner, so that's why I'm looking that direction in case I'm not looking at the camera. And because I can't tell where the film is, I actually flipped my iPad around so I could see myself, because it's hard if I have it reversed because I can't get up and go around constantly. So I am working on my daughter-in-law's quilt. Somehow I managed to take 2 strips of blocks, and first off I sewed the strips in correctly. Then when I got the strips sewn correctly, and here's part of my problem. I'm going to show you the pattern real quick here. The pattern is in black and white, and it's like it was from 2000. What year was this from? 2021. Well, that's what it says, all rights, but I'm not sure if the pattern was 2021. It is one of the cotton cuts. I can't tell. I don't know which year it was from. It's from, the name of it is Olympia. But anywho, so I tried to put them together. I looked at them and they were incorrect. This is the row. So I've taken out the row and fixed the row. And I'm down to, and this has taken me 2 days to work on this. I'm on the 3rd day now. So this is the block I'm trying to create. And I just realized, so this is the block I'm making. Notice this is at the bottom right. Oh, well, actually, it's your bottom left corner. So, of course, somehow mine came up here at the top, and it was not upside down. So I have laid it out. Now, I can't switch this, so let me just hold up the bottom rows here. And I've laid them all on the table, and then the black square goes above that orangish color, and then this light green goes above it. Now, as you can see here, where it's flipped right there, I have to stop and sew it. Now, I used black thread. I have white on here, so I'm going to probably have to change it out. Then when I'm done with these 3, I have to make this row right here, okay, which is these little pieces, because I had to take them all out and iron them. It's not like I can recut this out because this was all in pieces. That is what the cotton cuts, they're kits, so they come with all their fabric and everything. So I'm going to stop and change my thread out, and I'll be right back. Okay, now I have flipped this back around. I've got my thread changed out, and I'm going to sew whatever needs to be sewn. Just these little edges. I'll start within the fabric and come off, and I'm turning my dial down so that the length of my stitches are smaller. And then I'm going to pray that I don't have to take them out, because boy, will they be a booger to get out if I have to. So I'm stitching this on a 2, so I went down to a 1.4. And I'm just going to do every single corner. Let me set my, there we go. I'm going to flip it over to do the other side, because if I don't do it, sure shooting, what's going to happen is I'm going to have to turn around and do it, because it won't catch in the seam, and that's the main thing, is not catching in the seam. I don't feel like I have enough light, and I don't know if it's my eyes this morning or what. Let's see, how dirty are my glasses. Oh goodness, what did I do with my glass case? Here it is, underneath here. This is what I do when I don't film on Fridays. I'm trying to catch up with things that have been promised. Oh my gosh, this was promised so long ago. I feel bad that I haven't got it done. So When I get done doing this on Fridays, then I will be working on the quilt as you go, which I've started, and I haven't managed to get that done, and that's for someone also. Okay. Don't need to lock that in because I'm actually going over the other thread that I've already started with. See, it's got the hanging thread, which is fine. I have threads all over myself here. So I just thought that I would do this, and I would do a little chit-chat session here. The disadvantage of having to constantly redo all this is that I feel like it starts shredding on you. All the fabric. Just, alrighty, so I'm just going to go down each one and see if they need it. It looks like this side needs it more so than the other, so the other one doesn't need it at all. Hopefully my hands aren't in the way because I cannot see. I flipped that camera back around. Okay, here we go. And this is what you do if you don't, which I did not do it at this time that I did this, when I was showing you before on the other video, or when you get towards the tail end, if you decrease your stitches, this won't happen. But I didn't do it when I was going through the whole thing. Of course, I'm like everybody else. I forget to do it. I mean, once you develop the habit and you're doing it, just routinely doing it, then it's okay. But once you quit and you start all over again, of course you forget it. That's what happens to me. All right, doesn't need to be ironed. I just need to make sure that I set it down correctly. Pick up the next one, take a look at it. That one looks good. Look at this one here. And that one looks good. And maybe this one right here might need a little bit. This end. All right, let's do this one. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put these together first. So I'll put these rows together. Now you know they got to be nestled, and they've already been umpteen times. As a matter of fact, since I had to take them out, they were nestled correctly the last time, so they're going to nestle correctly this time. I'm going to put a pin in them, so it doesn't hurt to put a pin in. And I probably should have went. There we go. We're going to pull it, hold this a little taut. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my stitch back to. I'm going to leave it down to the 1.4 to start out with. This dog would get off my foot down here. Okay, and I'm going to go back up to 2. I'm going to pull it just a little bit as I'm just holding on to it over here on this end. I hate to say pull it because I'm not really pulling it. I am so glad that jumped that pin. Let's put my pin cushion over here. So the reason I went ahead and I thought I would show you this is that I actually have this exact same thing that I'm doing a video on in the colors for myself. And it's the same exact pattern, and I hope that I did not mess up that one when I put it together, because I do this at different times. It's not like I do it on the same day, so if my mind was paying attention, I guess you could call it, hopefully I didn't make any mistakes on the other one. And if I did, of course, I will show you the mistakes. Go back on it and decrease it, just in case. There we go. And I'm going to add the next row, making sure I have this one correct. So the green's on the top. It goes like this. So anyway, I wanted to say, out at work, I had a patient that came in, and I took if you've been following, I went, when I made the envelope with the little pink hearts flying out of it on that 12.5 inch that you put on a stand. Well, we had a patient that come out at work, and she said that she wanted to learn how to sew, so she got her mother's sewing machine, had it serviced, and went ahead and took a class. But she was totally lost in the class. She couldn't even understand her machine. Now, if you guys have ever taken a class, the first thing, which they don't even tell you, but you need to know, that you need to know your machine. All right. And when I say need to know your machine, you don't need to know everything about it, but you need to know how it works. So you got to know when you turn it on, how to thread it. And if it doesn't thread right, you need to be able to fix it, because all sewing machines are different. All right. And by being different, the instructor might not have any clue about your machine. She may only know about her own machine. I mean, I'm not talking about the instructor like the ones that have taken classes and all that. I'm talking about an individual that knows sewing and has been asked to sew at this shop. Like, I have a specific shop that I go to one town over, and as soon as they found out that I did sewing and quilting, the first thing they said was, would I come and teach a class? Well, no, I don't have the time to teach a class. But it's not like I went and got a degree and all that in sewing and fabric and whatnot. So that's not one of the qualifications to come and sew. It's just whatever you're comfortable with. I mean, probably the greatest thing to show somebody how to sew, which I feel is easy, would be the bow cozy, or actually the, what's it called? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. What's the matter with me today? I have only had a cup of coffee. I haven't even eaten my breakfast yet. Oh, lordy, lordy. What's it called? What's it called? Come on, y'all. Y'all know what it's called. You're probably shouting at me through the video. Mug rug. That is, to me, the easiest if you don't make it complicated. I could actually teach it just straight, where you would just take lines, and I don't know if I have one to show you. Let me stop this film, and I'm going to go around here and see if I've got one that's really, really simple. I'll show you. Okay, I'm totally out of breath. I went downstairs real quick. Alrighty, so here is the most simplest, I had this on the TV and it got all dusty on me, type of mug rug to make. Or you could just do flat fabric, 2 fabrics with the batting on the inside, trim it up, and then cut it off with your pinking shears. If you don't have pinking shears, you can use, they actually have rotary cutter pinking shears now, or you can just cut it with your scissors. Okay? Then a little bit more complicated one would do strips. So I took some fabric from the back, and all I did was sewed a strip of this fabric. This is 2.5 inches to this strap fabric, to this one, okay? And then just put the stitches on it, which you can see right here. There's stitches, red stitches, and that's a really easy one to make. And it's whatever size you want to make it. You can make it any size, but this is perfect. You can put an actual teacup or a saucer, and you can just lay your cookies on it. Now, this is 100% cotton, so of course you can throw this in the wash when you're done. They're really long wearing. Now, to get a little bit more complicated, you can do this. So I took one fabric, I fussy cutted out a piece of fabric, and then I ironed this onto this. And you can use fusible on the back side, or if you don't want that, you can literally take this little thing here, put a little bit of glue around the tips of it. Now, not in your stitching line, but just to hold it down on your fabric, and then go all the way around it. And I just did little teeny weeny little stitches. Doesn't have any stitches in the middle. Let me see if I can pull it up to show you. It's not held down. See, this isn't held down. There's no stitching in here. And then I just meandered. That's what this stitch is called, meandering, all over it. And then I just put a plain fabric on the back. That was it. That's just a little bit harder because it's fussy cutting and it's considered to be applique, but I mean, it's not a lot of, it's applique in the fact that it's a piece that you put on top of another piece, but it's not applique where you're going to put, for example, the hat on top of his head would be a piece, his head would be a piece, his arm might be a piece, his body, you know, that sort of thing. So this is the easiest way to do it. But anyway, this is what I was talking about when I said really, really simple, okay? Now let's get back and sew this. Let me set this aside. We're going to go ahead and we're going to, I'm ironing this and it wants to go that direction, so I'm going to go ahead and iron it like that. That's that. It goes exactly like this. And now we're going to make the top strip. And I'm just going to follow my pattern. Now, not my paper pattern, but my pattern of my actual fabric. So it wants this piece like this. I do believe. This one goes like this. This one goes down like that. Uh-oh, I'm missing a piece. Oh, no. Where did my piece go? Oh, here it is. All right, maybe it is. There we go. And then this piece goes like this. And then this piece goes like that. So we start from the left. We're going to put these two pieces together. I don't think I need to iron mine anymore. It is so ironed and stitched, and I'm so afraid with all the stitching and the ripping out that I've had to do on this. I always worry. And thank goodness that this is a nice piece of fabric, because if this was one of those cheap pieces of fabric, it would have fallen apart by now. Actually, when I stitched my stitch line and I had to take that out, it would have put holes everywhere my stitch line was. I don't mean holes from stitching, but literally holes where it would have, let's see, how do I explain it? It would have fallen apart. Now, keep in mind, this is a 1/4 inch, okay? So it would have literally fell apart at the 1/4 inch, and I wouldn't have had anywhere to sew. So I'm just taking my time. So anyway, let me tell you about the patient out at work. So she made the comment that after she went to that class, she said the heck with it, because I had asked her if she'd bought a sewing machine. That's when she said that she'd got her mom's. But anyway, so she said, nope, that's it. It went back. She goes, it's been sitting. I can't sew. And I said, well, I'll tell you what. I said, why don't you watch my channel, and I'm going to make some little tips and tricks, but I will gear the first one towards people like you that don't have any clue about sewing, but you want to learn how to sew. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew these two pieces together just so I don't have to lift up my fabric and cut it off. There's no rhyme or reason, and there's no order that you got to sew this. And believe me, after you've put it in, took it out, and in my case, held it for Lord knows how many years and set it aside, you're not going to remember how to put it all back together the way that they want you to. But as long as it gets together, you're fine. And actually, you know what? I did not put my stitch down. Darn it. I gotta keep... Maybe because I'm just going to sew it right now, it won't fall apart. Usually it's when you set it aside. That's when you have your issues. Like me, my issues. Anyway, so I told her that I'll do just little short ones, and I'll get her started, and she can follow along with mine. I went ahead and gave her, while I was talking to her right then, I gave her some tips on how to do her 1/4 inch, and oh my gosh, she says, you know, I've never heard that before. I said, that's all right. I said, these are the kind of tips that I like to give because people don't think about it, and no, you wouldn't think about it. So it's sort of like, well, how the heck did I come up with it? Well, I try to sit and think of what I would like to do, and that's how I come up with some of my ideas. It's like, well, how can I make this easy? If I was doing it for the first time, that's not going to be easy for me. So how can I make it easier? And then I sit there and think about it, and that's how I end up coming up with most of my ideas, just thinking about them. All right, so make sure that you do put this the correct direction so that this is going upward, this peak, and this one's coming downward. And then I'm not going to iron it, and I'm just going to finger press it, and then I'm going to make sure it goes like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and pin it. Now, these have those pre-cut dog ears off, so you don't have to worry about them, and the fabric does match up. I'll get my pin in here. So if you notice here, the fabric doesn't stick up, which normally it would. You'd have a little point right there. But they have all that cut and trimmed for you, so you don't have to worry about that. It literally goes from corner to corner, end to end, however you want to say it. All right, let's put this on like that. I got my stitch lowered. Now I'll increase it. Okay. And you want to be careful because this is on the bias, and that means that it will stretch. And you do not want it to stretch, because if you do, then you're going to have a big old wavy thing in there, and when you go to, and I forgot to go back down again. Probably was talking, not paying attention, but I think I'm good. But the reason that you don't want it to do that is when you have your, if you have wavy, because you've pulled it and stretched it, when you go to match it up to the next piece, it won't fit. And in order for you to get it to fit, you'll end up having to put a pleat in it. Well, you don't want pleats all over your stuff. That'd be kind of weird. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and fold it that way. And now all I got to do is put this corner square on. Let me make sure that's smooth. This has been smoothed down so much and ironed, I don't think it's going to give me any problems. Yep, I got to go a little higher. There we go. Only problem about it is that I can't see black fabric. It's like overwhelming for my eyes anymore. Let's make sure that I even go in. Okay. Come down a little bit here. There we go. And I used to love to sew on black, but I just cannot do it. It's an effort, man. All right, now let's put this together. And that's black with a, looks like marble green in there. All right, let's go down with my stitch. Now that I remember it, get started. There we are, go up with my stitch. And when I get started here, I can take my, there we go. If I take this pin out, it will push this top fabric. There we go. And we're going to decrease my length again, come off the edge, go back up a minute. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to iron it. And let's see which way does it want to go. We're going to take a look-see here so I can figure out which way I should be going to put that together. Let's see here. Okay, it has to go that direction. I'm wondering if I'm going to, I kind of wish it was going the other way, but I really don't have a choice. Oh well, that's all right. No biggie. I can mark it. I've even got a piece of, I'm worried about this corner down here because I actually have a rip. So let me think, because let's see if you can see this. See this rip? That's not a good thing to have. So I'm thinking what to do about that. Let me stop and think about that a minute. All right, so I have this little piece right here of heat and bond that I'm going to put right there in that corner like that, which will hold that stitch. So I'm going to do that first with the iron. There it is, together enough that it's not going to have it. I'm not going to have an issue. So let's go back to how to put it together here. So we're going to put the middle of this. Let's stitch, cut some of this off here. So you want to put that right in the middle of this seam here. So very carefully, what I do is put a pin in the tip, the top of the tip now. And then I'll put it here on the seam, right there. So it's going to go like that. Just push it straight through. That's how it's going to sit. So since it's going to sit like that, to keep you from losing it, while you got the pin in there, you're going to go ahead and you're going to attach this. Doesn't make any difference whether it's low or not. You just want to make sure it's on that seam right there. That's that 1/4 inch seam. I gotta get these glasses back on. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, then take this one out. That's fine. I'll go to this end. I don't know if I need to flip this over. I'm going with the black fabric. Slowly move it up. There we go. ahead and nestle these. Come to the very end. I'm going to put a pin on there. My hands are so dry. Between this fabric and my hands, oh my goodness. I feel like an alligator. My skin is so dry. Okay, let's keep that lifted. So I'm going to go ahead and put a pin here. All right, let's go ahead and start it. Thing going out. There we go. My screensaver came on, believe it or not. All right, let's get started here. I tell you, my machine does not like needles. Pins, excuse me, not needles, but pins. It's almost like they're too big, and it has an issue with them. I don't know why. I don't know why that seems so low either. For some reason. There we go. Pull down on that. Pull down on one, push up on the other. There we go. Now, of course I didn't mark it, but I can see right where that's going, so I'll know that I won't go and take my tip off. It went right through the middle there. Okay, now I can take that off. And of course, when we're finished, we'll take a look at it. Let's make sure this has to go the other direction. So put my finger on it to catch it. There we go. And it's caught. And look at that. Oh, that looks pretty good. All right, let me go ahead and I'm going to iron it. Alrighty, I have it pinned together. All that extra noise you hear, he's got a yak. If anybody has pets and they know what that is what he's chewing on. And of course, it's sliding around on the floor down there underneath the table, so we just have to ignore the noise. If it's possible. I mean, I can end up ignoring it, but I live with him, so. Let's make sure that's going over. Yes, looks good. That's another thing when you're new you need to practice is your speed, because the newer sewing machines actually have the speed where you can't go any faster than you've set it. But the older machines, if that's what you have, don't have that speed limit. Your speed limit is your foot, your pedal, how you control it. That's what it is. All right, here's the first one done. Get out here on this table or iron. Let me get it ironed. And if you end up ironing it one way and you believe that it needs to go the other way, then you're going to need to switch it, because whatever was already previously ironed a direction, that one has to stay. You can't be changing it unless it's one piece that you want to change. What it looks like ironed on there. Whoops, I need to go the other direction with it. Hold on one second. There we go. That's the end piece. Now that takes care of one piece for me. And then I have to do the other piece, which was correct, but I just need to attach it like that. It's kind of weird that those two pieces go together like that, but I better double make sure. That seems off to me. And I'm not quite sure why does it... I see how that looks off. All right, let me double check my pattern here. Well, that was a bust. So none of that worked. I pulled it out. I looked at it. I sewed the top strips, which are these right here, they were the bottom strips, not the top strips, and they're all messed up. So I got to start over. This is the end of this video. I tell you what, after I get them done and they correct, then I will show them. But until then, nope, I'm done. That's it. Kaput. But I do appreciate you watching this video. And this is how my Fridays go. I mean, this is how my days go when I don't do video. It's not all because of the videos. It just happens. Okay? So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Welcome all my new subscribers. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.